All right, good morning, everybody. Most of you don't need this today, but it'll be very interested in any feedback content.
I'm going to try to get you some more items.
I need you, all right. So, capabilities of emergency communications have finally evolved. And I think we've all been working on this for many, many years. It's a long time. IoT everywhere has triggered this unprecedented paradigm shift in the thinking of the enterprise. Different levels of what's valid, what's not valid, what's acceptable, and I think just the whole thinking on this has been changing. This is creating a lot of disruption, and those that are spawning the most remarkable changes seen are creating the biggest problems, such as Rapid SOS has totally flipped the market upside down on its ear by taking in handset-based location. So Avaya, in concert with 911 Secure and Rapid SOS, have developed the next-gen 911 additional data functionality for the enterprise. The enterprises have an incredible treasure trove of information, data on people, environmentals, and events. And we can now tap into that and feed that to public safety. We've been tapping into it for internal notification, but now we've got the ability of actually pushing that data to public safety in a form, in an area where it's legible and readable. So this model has completely changed the game in this. Automobiles were playthings for the rich 100 years ago. They were really innovative, but that's what they were. They were often too complex. Nobody knew how to drive, and often roads didn't exist to drive these things on. So what happened? You had chauffeurs and mechanics employed by the rich and famous to take care of their machines. But again, to be of any value, no matter how fantastic this was, in a paradigm shift in transportation, to be of any value, roads needed to exist. The world was filled with trails, dirt roads, pathways. But now the world is covered with pavement and cement. But where's the real value? The real value is still in the vehicle. If I've got to deliver something, I need this. If I want to go really fast and impress people...
That was a bad day.
that was a last-minute find. I'm like, I got it.
Oh, man.
So the legacy 911 network is very much like the dirt road, right? So the technology that's there, we've got all this high-fidelity digital content within the enterprise. I know everything about everybody in every place. And I go through this massive digital to analog conversion, which is called the public switch telephone network. The 911 network today is still very much analog voice, and caller ID is the data on the transport of the event out. I hit the PSAP, they make a query over one of those high-speed data modems at 9600 baud, and they pull back 512 characters or bytes of information. The enterprise has access to a single field. It's address line 2, it's 20 to 30 characters in length, and it's text only. And I've got the ability to publish data in that record, on that field. I've got to have a record for every device, because every device has to have a unique phone number. That drives expense through the roof. The problem with E911 is the 911 networks are built for analog devices. Bottom line. And that's it. Analog voice can't do data. If it does, it sounds like modem tones. And it's not at a speed that's usable for the content that we have. 80% of the calls are based from the cellular network. 240 million calls a year, 80% of them come from cell phones. Most of those cell phones are smartphones. They've got a ton of information. There are people that have realized this and said, hey, we can fix this problem. So I've got a voice call and I could get to police, fire, and EMS without any problem. And a couple of smart kids from the Northeast, from Harvard MIT and such, said, you know what? I think we can fix this. And Michael Martin from Rapid SOS came up to me 6 years ago. Mr. Fletcher, I've solved 911. Let me guess, Michael, you wrote an app. Yes, it's called Haven and it does this. That's wonderful, Michael. Nobody's going to use that. Many have tried, all have failed. But I like what you're doing. And through discussions, we came to the conclusion that his functionality is best delivered to the public through an app they're already using. Go find that app. He did. It was the Uber app. When I'm in an Uber app, I've got the app open. So they created the emergency button. They take the Uber data. They take my data. They deliver that to a next-gen 911 repository or clearinghouse. And they gave public safety free access to that clearinghouse. Mark Fletcher called 911. Here's a place where you can look for free to get all of the other data we have. He's in this vehicle, this license plate, traveling down this road, this direction at this speed. Here's his personal information. Here's where we picked him up. Here's was his planned destination. Do what you will. And it was made available through a web interface. Secured. And I looked at this and I said, wow, that's great, because he talked Apple and Google last year in the fall to add this functionality into the core operating system. So iOS 12 included this capability. You make a 911 call, voice goes this way, data goes to Rapid. 3 weeks later, I think it was, Google added the same functionality. Because of their model, they made it backwards compatible all the way to 4.something ice cream sandwich. So now I've got 86% of the smartphones out there running an operating system that natively supports this model. And Rapid is the only receiver of that model. Do they have to be? No, but they are right now. So now when I dial 911, public safety can make a query into that smart database. And I looked at that and I said, and I had this planned. Will that repository talk to anything? Any IoT? Smart vehicles, LifeWatch, MedAlert, Uber, Google, Apple. These are the people putting data in there. And they're paying to do that. The consumer doesn't pay. The PSAP doesn't pay. Consumer pays because, hey, I'm not going to give something to a customer that I have to pay money for. That's going to be built into the price. But that's where the revenue comes from. Can that talk to anything? Sure. Well, I've got a PBX. That's also a smart IoT device. We've been using the Sentry product for years to collect and correlate all kinds of information. I now had a centralized server to publish that to, and public safety could now query that and put my information there. And we're causing a paradigm shift change in public safety procedure. Before, they used to take the phone number, if it was a cell phone call, and type it into the interface. Then the CAD systems started querying automatically. Now they're querying automatically on every call, because there might be enterprise data. Granted, it's very little right now, but it's going to be more and more. This upsets the apple cart because the enterprise no longer has to pay huge alley models. PS Alley. Do I need a phone number in every room? No. Do I need an alley database in every room? No. Hospital in New England. I'm sorry? Alley record, yes. Thank you. That would be a great scam. Oh, you need a separate alley database. Yeah. I know people that might do that.
Give me an idea.
But again, I need one alley record for steering the legacy 911 call today. I've got to get it to the right PSAP. Or I've got to go through a cloud provider, VPC, that we'll talk about in our panel session to get the call to the right PSAP. But I collect the information. I need one record in RapidSOS to represent this building. And I can dynamically provision that record in near real time. So that lets me take a building with 10,000 endpoints, but one entrance? Great, here's the entry point. I'll dynamically populate the record. And it's extensible. So if there are 5 911 calls, all the data will be held in that one shell record. Why do I need multiple records? I don't. Again, change the financial model. So this is where we've really changed how the world is responding. I've got smart vehicles, smart buildings, smart environments, smart phones, and that's why we've presented the smart solution. This folds very nicely into Carrie's Law. So Carrie Hunt was murdered in 2013 in December in a hotel. Her daughter knew to dial 911 but couldn't. She had dialed 911. And that was the problem. Carrie's Law was designed to correct that problem. Direct access to 911 is now required without an access code. As of February 16th of next year, it goes into effect. I've got a route directly to the 911 center. No more answering at the front desk unless they're certified to answer that call and can provide the same level of service. Not that they shouldn't know about it. We just don't want them intercepting the call. The third thing handles the notification. On-site notification. It's implied that the caller information is there. No mention of location in here. And I took a lot of heat for that. But are you going to really notify somebody there's a 911 call? Hey, Carol dialed 911. Yeah, what's the next question? Where is she? And I felt that the location technology had held up the legislation for a decade. And in 5 years, we got this passed. Right behind this, sure enough, the Ray Bombs Act, Section 506, was signed into law. This is where dispatchable address comes into play as being required to deliver that to the PSAP. And again, they're saying building, floor, room number, or similar information necessary. And those are the 4 magic words in that provision, or similar information necessary. So that tells me I don't have to use the Alley database. I don't have to. We fought hard to get this in there. You go to my office, through a glass door, a glass wall with no receptionist, that's what you see from outside the building. It says, promos for our company, we're doing the month of giving this month, for charitable donations, etc. It's an IP-enabled 50-inch flat screen TV. The second there's a 911 call in my building, the second that second one is dialed, before the trunk's even been selected, that display changes to an active emergency display. An emergency condition exists, you're here, the call is here, here's some video of the hallways in the area, and here's a shot spotter in case there was a gunshot detection. It's relevant information. It's not in the 911 app. It's information that lives in the enterprise space. We've been doing this for a while. My challenge was, how do I get this to public safety? RapidSOS shows up and allows me to publish URLs and multimedia. So now data like this goes into that cloud. That's why we're different than every other solution out there. We provide the efficient delivery of precise and detailed information. Internally, exactly. So we're collecting it here. That puts the detail in the hands of the internal first responders. But because of our connection to Rapid SOS through an encrypted publish model, 911 call puts the data in there. The PSAP gets the phone call, takes whatever ANI that I send, that's correlated. They pull down an encrypted location payload, just like they do from cell phones.
So Rapid SOS can still do the IVR thing, right? The PSAP is not able to take the digital and convert that into an analog voice message.
If they need to.
That's
We're not routing them the voice. The voice is going direct through the PSTN.
Not the voice. But the data may not be in a format the PSAP can take.
Oh no, those only go to Rapid SOS PSAPs.
You will send it to Rapid.
So how many PSAPs are? They're covering over 80% of the population. 90 now. You're right. They just published new numbers. It's 90% of the population, over 3,500 PSAPs. But it covers 90% of the population. So the data is accessible, and it's a basic, most of the CADs are being updated to collect this information. So I'm publishing all this, they can get all this. That's the wonderful thing really about this. What about testing? There's a massive test event that's got to be coming up. Everybody's got to be compliant. They're going to be calling PSAPs like crazy. When we talked to 911 Secure, I said, Kevin, we need to figure out how people can test autonomously and get information. So they went back and they came up with the 933 test call. My 911 calls go into the location services and they route to the PSAP and they'll get that information. If I dial 933 into that service, I hit an IVR that does an audio feedback of where I am. So, what time do we have? How are we on time?
23 after.
Great.
Mark, on the 933 one, hitting the 911 location database, is that the on-site location database, not the alley database?
No, it's hitting the public databases, the alley. It's actually the Rapid SOS record, right?
No, it's the one that's uploaded to the cloud.
Oh, yeah, it's the clouds. Bandwidth.com is the back-end routing carrier for the 911 traffic, so it's their location.
What you're saying, so I see that.
So I've got a tool.
Is it the same as a live call? So it's a
Yeah.
test call. So it's integrated into the live.
Yeah, that's what the PSAP's going to get.
Okay. But the PSAP is not going to get this. It's going to fit that.
And they're on managed call. Yeah, and we'll, Fletcher's going to do an example of what actually happened.
So I've got a location discovery application that has located my PC here in Herman Hall. And I went through, that's not sharing. Okay, that's interesting. But I went through and I took my record and I added line 2 data that says IIT, Herman Hall, Herman Lounge. And all the address 1 information, Federal Street, is in the alley record. Oh, is that what it is? Hang on a second, I gotta get back.
So they're using us, and so through us, we're using that.
Who's that?
That one's secure. Hi.
Why do you need bandwidth not call if you're not doing the alley?
So let's hang on. So this is the app. This comes up when I log in, get a new IP address, link up, link down. Hey, where are you? Here's the Google information of where you are. Is that correct? Move it, whatever. Lets me create and advertise my address. So here's where I put in, it was 3241 South Federal Street, and I put in the IIT Herman Hall, Herman Lounge on address line 2. So the address is validated with MSAG. The line 2 data is whatever I want to put. Carol Davids drives her car too fast. I have photo evidence.
That's actually not true. I can vouch for that.
So is line 2 typically at least an alley right now?
Yeah, line 2 is an alley. Not every PSAP look.
Well, that's where you would have to put floor and
Yeah.
in that space. because
Right.
it's not floor.
Not every PSAP looks at address line 2, unfortunately. But we're gonna get to that. So I've published into the record, this is where I am. And immediately, now from my enterprise client, if I dial 933,
You have reached the 911 address verification service. You are calling from 19089532134. Your 911 address is
3241 South Federal Street at Herman Hall, Herman Lounge, Chicago, Illinois 60616-3740 U.S.
your 911 service is active.
so if I dial 911 on my laptop soft phone right now, it'll go to the appropriate police department. They'll get an alley pop. Because I'm a Rapid SOS customer, that information, the floor plan of this, pretty much this room, is where I showed up, will be available to the PSAP if they're a Rapid SOS customer.
But that's because you put the floor plan in the Rapid SOS data.
Yeah.
as part of your additional.
Yeah.
Or the line 2 data,
I'm sorry?
the floor plan in the line 2 data.
In the Rapid SOS record. So I'm going to show you what the PSAP sees.
Just wanted to establish the fact that unless something was pre-rolled in the clearinghouse, it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Absolutely.
You just.
And it gets dynamically pushed to the clearinghouse.
Not that I need to tell you or anybody else in the room is, right, but if you talk to anybody, you have to be very careful and specific with these people. Because if all the floor plans are available, and it's just an absolutely necessary step that it needs to be preloaded in some database somewhere.
Yeah.
They're gonna be very upset when you said that,
Yes.
floor plans are available, they don't appear.
Yep. So on February 6th of this year at 1:30 Central, at the Shelbyville County PSAP, which services the Memphis area, we just upgraded the Memphis, what was it, the buildings department, to the latest Avaya Aura software. And we gave them a Sentry solution deployed to do a pilot test. And at 1:30 in the afternoon, the first next-gen 911 additional data call was made. What's happening now? Why am I not sharing? Said I was sharing. Okay, that's interesting.
You have to do a mirror. Drag it over you.
No? No, it's the,
Maybe a mirror. It's more than that. The screens and all. Is something up here?
No, I'm not even getting it back for the recording. Something I'm wrong.
all right, so we've lost video. So in their Motorola Vesta CAD solution, they have a window for Rapid SOS calls. Why? 80% of their calls to the PSAP are from cellular. Rapid SOS is providing explicit location, Uber level location data on those calls. Now, the floor plan, which was configured and loaded in the Sentry solution, got pushed to that PSAP. And on that PDF that they were displayed had building access information. They even included GPS coordinates, so they had them there so the dispatcher could use that data. Go ahead.
So the solution is provided by.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that's, so it is in the interest of the building owners, they can provide those to, residents.
Yeah, absolutely.
once
So they have to address the
Yes,
911
once I
problem.
find the PBX, I'm gonna give them my floor. So for us to, we had to put maps onto our cloud server.
Right.
Yeah. And
So again,
this is-
we found that the building architects already have suitable floor plans.
Yeah.
And you start out with, here's the entry to the building that I want you to come to. Here are the fire department connections. Here are the hotels that are capable of taking a gurney. Even though the call's on this side of the building, come through this entrance because you got to get on an elevator and go to the 8th floor. And this elevator will hold a gurney, that one won't. Things like that. But what it does is it starts a planning event for the facility. And we tell them, you got to talk to your PSAP. Find out what they need. And build a response plan that works. So, unfortunately, you didn't see the integration there, but that is the end of it. One other thing that was interesting.
We had a time, so to keep us more or less on track, you got an hour long.
We have an hour-long panel discussion on this technology and where 911 is going. But one of the interesting things about this pilot was, in the local on-site notification, there's a texting capability to let all of the clients know, okay, this is what's going on, whatever. It wasn't really designed as text messaging. It was just notes for the application. The developers enabled those notes to be sent real time into the RapidSOS database. So in addition to the floor plan, they got a live note, essentially, from building security. Enter the building, go to the 4th floor, fitness center is 2 doors down to the right. Here I got all this wonderful technology. I could have passed them video or whatever. Everybody was freaking out. Oh my God, look, text. Okay, if that's what's good for you. Whatever. The stuff we worked the least on was what impressed them the most, which is just an interesting observation. But it's we're pretty proud of this. It's really changing a lot. So
Right now, RapidSOS is the only game in town.
right now they are. I mean, if somebody else were to come online, I'll write to anybody. I don't care. But they've got Google, they've got Apple, they've got MetalAlert, they've got Uber, they've got me. Is there going to be room for somebody? I don't know. They kind of missed the train. I don't like that. I think it's bad to have one person as the only.
Then you get back to what we've always been to.
Yep,
But they're good people.
but they're good people.
Yeah,